Hi everyone, let me introduce my guest for today. Ken is the founder of 361 Degree Group, an accounting advisory and software solutions company. The group has close to 100 employees and has currently office in Singapore and in Malaysia. They started in 2008 and is currently serving more than 2,500 businesses in the region. I'm excited to pick Ken's brain today. Thanks for coming on. Please, Ken, can you share with us exactly what you do to help SMEs?
Generally, we do two things. Like you mentioned, we are an accounting advisory firm, as well as we also implement software solutions for all SMEs to improve the digitalization and of course efficiencies and so on and so forth.
Okay, I want to get into a topic straight away that SMEs are super interested in, which is grants, also called free money from the government. Can you share with us exactly what are the popular grants available to SMEs today?
This is actually a very interesting topic. When we started the company, right, besides doing accounting business as well as software advisory, we also actually helping a lot of SMEs to apply grant. Without grant, SME actually having difficulties to survive. So at the moment, right, for the past 15 years when we set up, there are many different kind of government grants. And at the moment, the most popular government grant, I would say, is PSG grant, Productivity Solutions grant. And of course, there are some other grants that are helping SMEs to hire manpower and so on and so forth. For example, like CCP, EDG, and so on and so forth. So later I'll share with you more in details what are these different grants.
Why do you think PSG is the most popular grant? What is so special about PSG?
Okay, as you can see, right, COVID, I would say considered like just officially over because no mask is needed. So in the past 2 years, everybody is crying for digitalization because we have to work remotely, can't go to office. So papers is actually a big issue for a lot of SME. And then PSG grant basically focus on having different kind of solutions for SME. So with all this arsenal, the SME can actually better equip themselves and then excel further. So that is why our government, I must really say our government is really foresighted and then prepared all the SMEs in Singapore going into a new digital era. So that is why PSG is so useful and basically it allows SME to get a lot of, I would say, essential software. For example, like accounting software, HR software. And then they even recently branched out to digital marketing, which I think these are all the essential tools that SME must have.
Actually, what is the big fuss about digitalization? We have been hearing it everywhere. Governments pushing SMEs to go digital, all sorts of things. So why go digital even?
Right, okay, good question. So we have been hearing this, but what exactly is digitalization? So usually when we explain to our customers, right, digitalization basically means paperless. Of course, not really mean by that, but in a layman term, when you're without paper, right, everything's are so much easier. So I can give you an example how a typical account department function. So say for example, now you need to pay a supplier. Imagine your supplier sent you an email. Without digitalization or without paperless, right, what the accountant will do is they will print out the paper invoice and then prepare a payment voucher, get the director to approve it, and then once the director approves it, and they issue a check and then mail it out. So the process it can involve, there are many steps. Of course, some of the audience may argue, oh no, we're already on the internet banking, oh no, we already have the PDF and so on and so forth. But how about this? If you are in a paperless environment, like what my company did, when a paper invoice is in via email, what we will do is we immediately attach in our software, and then from our software, we ask for the director's approval. The director will do it online to approve the invoice, and then once it's completed, using our software, we will immediately transmit the payment, prepare the payment in bank. And then what the director needs to do is the last step, which is log into the internet banking and then press the approve button, and then the payment to the supplier has been gone through. So the thing is, no paper printing, there's no filing needed. And with this, right, the efficiency of this payment actually gone up, I would say at least by 100 to 200%.
Sounds good. So what is the benefit for SMEs?
The other thing about paperless is that, now currently hiring someone in Singapore is so expensive. I think all my business friends, all the companies are all facing manpower crunch. So imagine if let's say all your processes are online. Now you have the opportunity to start hiring people not actually inside Singapore. You can hire people from overseas. On the other hand is you have greater flexibilities that you allow staff to work from home. So one of the hot topic right now is, after COVID, a lot of employees actually request the company, can we continue to work from home, but on a hybrid model, meaning that, a few days I come to office and a few days I work from home. So without paperless, this kind of arrangement is totally not possible. And you know, SMEs, we are all fighting for talents. What if there are two companies offering the same salary, but one company offer the employee the flexibilities of working from home and in office, and the other one is 100% have to work in the office? So eventually, I think the answer is very clear. All the employees will choose the work-life friendly company or the company that has more flexibilities.
So, talking about this manpower issue is indeed a big issue for SMEs when it comes to hiring or retention of talent. Is always one of the recurring problems every SME face. So you shared one advice, which is that you can offer the benefit of work from home hybrid model. What other ways that we can solve this manpower issue in Singapore?
I guess efficiency. You know, manpower, I mean, we all need manpower because we have work to do. What if we can tweak the workflow and then make it simpler? One of the things that we always encourage our client to do is to reduce wastage. All right, so what is wastage? It sounds like a stop throwing rubbish or recycling. Not really. Wastage is defined as the work that we do and then there is no value to our client. I'll give you an example. Filing your document. Does it make any sense to your client? Your clients don't really care whether you file your documents properly or you just throw it in the cupboard. You know, nobody cares. So this kind of work is actually redundant. And then if let's say we reduce all these redundancies and cut down all the wastage, our manpower can actually use in a better way. Say for example, customer engagement. We care for our customer more. We call our customers and say, hey, is there anything that I can do for you more? Or we actually prepare something even value add our customer more. So these are the things that we can actually empower our employees, and then eventually you gain better market share, and then of course you cut down your usage of manpower too.
So finding the things, narrowing down on the things that can really add value to the customers, and then stop wastage. Okay, nice. So you mentioned accounting as one example of digitalization. Any other areas that SMEs can digitalize?
I think many ways. I would say everything. So let's talk about the fundamental. We'll talk about marketing first, because all companies require sales. We need leads and things like that. So imagine, let's say now I run a Facebook ad. Facebook has some tools and things like that. But the thing is, so I have a potential customer and using Facebook to send a message to me and say, hey Ken, I wanted to know more about your accounting services. Can you contact me? So I have the customer's name, I have the email address, I have the mobile phone number. So what I need to do is I need to manually copy and paste into my CRM, and then I start contacting my customer. Imagine if let's say all this information are actually immediately synchronized to my CRM, and my CRM is hooked up to WhatsApp. So I immediately send a WhatsApp to my customers directly, or directly send an email from my CRM, or even auto reply my customers with this with a template email. So these will improve efficiency, and then the customer's experience are very different. So we talk about the manual way is I need to copy and paste. My speed of replying this customer may be 2 to 4 hours, but if I'm using automated reply, it can cut down to even like 30 minutes. So the customers will feel, wow, you are really fast in replying me. So likewise, when I engage your service, I can more or less expect the same kind of speed. So the impression is very different.
So probably customer experience higher satisfaction rate, and then they want to buy more, or they choose you as the first choice if you can reply faster.
Of course. I mean, throughout the 15 years of experience, we get that a lot. When customers send in an email inquiry, we have an internal policy that we must reply customers within 2 hours. So a lot of times when customers send in an email, right, we immediately call, immediately WhatsApp. One of the common reply was, wow, why are you so fast? I just finished sending my email, that kind of thing. So they are impressed. And then of course, when you have good impression, the chances of getting the business is much higher.
Actually, in a moment, I'm going to go into how you grew your accounting firm. I believe that's one of the reasons we're going to go more in-depth into that in a moment. But before that, I want to still touch on the area of grants. All the features that you mentioned just now, the CRM automation and WhatsApp, is it applicable for grants?
Oh yes. So a lot of digital solutions like CRM software, digital marketing, these are available on PSG Grant. So PSG Grant covers a broad spectrum of, I would say, every aspect in the business. Different kind of solutions, I would say software solutions, they are covered under PSG. So I strongly encourage SME to really study about what is PSG, or simply, or give us a call. We will love to share with you more about PSG grant. And then the other thing that we help SMEs also, because we are very close to the SMEs advisors. So there are SME centers across the island. Things that we cannot answer you, we will actually introduce you to an SME advisor. And then this SME advisor is actually considered like they are the government people. So they will actually go in depth with you and explain what are the grants and how you can tap on and so on and so forth.
I think one thing is holding us back could be that is it very troublesome to apply for grants and all this, go through a lot of application? Is that real? Like, how easy is it to get grants?
Okay, this is a common complaint from our customer. So getting grants is always not that easy if you're a first timer. This is very common. So what everybody need to get prepared is, you must understand, you need to have certain basic information. For example, like your aircraft biz file and where are you operating from and things like that, and even your financial figures. Because if you stand from the government perspective, right, if a company wanted to apply grant, I need to know some basic information about your company. So once all this information are ready, it is actually a simple process. A few clicks of a button, submit it, and fret not, just in case you encounter problems, the SME advisors are there. So the government also recognize about this problem, and then that is why the SME centers are being set up. They employ SME advisors to help SME. So don't worry. My simple answer is that someone is ready to help you if you encounter problems.
So you mentioned PSG. Is there any other must-get grant? If you're not getting, you're like missing out right now. Like, what are SMEs missing out right now?
Okay, so we talk about the other program that I would strongly encourage is CCP, which is called the Career Conversion Program. It's actually meant for manpower. So currently, I think just now we mentioned, we were talking about this manpower crunch in Singapore. And then the funny thing is that there is currently a mismatch of our manpower. Generally, youngsters, I'll talk about like say 20 to 30 years old or even 20 to 35 years old, they have no problem getting jobs. And in fact, it is the other way around. Company can't hire this group of people. However, those who are in their 40s are having trouble to find jobs. So there is a mismatch. So what government thought of is, because our economy has transformed so fast and so different, some of the jobs that, let's say we talk about like the Gen X or even the baby boomers, some of the jobs that they specialize in, right, may have already been obsolete or may not be that crucial right now. So the career conversion program actually helps this group of people. It can be any age, don't get me wrong. Not necessarily 40 and above. Any age group whom they think they wanted to go into different sector. For example, at the moment, we all short of technology geeks, cannot find programmers in the market. Let's say talk about accounting. Someone who was an accountant and then wanted to study coding. So the government actually provides such a program, allowing an accountant to change their career in the mid-40s or even 30s. So with this CCP, number one is that the government will help to subsidize the cost that the PMET, we call it PMETs, as in the professional manager, executive and technician, the PME. Number two, the government will also subsidize the salary when the company hire these PME. So it's actually a win-win situation, good for the employees and also very good for the employers.
How much are we looking at?
Okay, ranging from 70 to 90%.
70 to 90? As much as 90?
Yeah, 90%. So it's really high. 70 or 90 basically is the age group. If it's 40 and below, it's 70%. If it's 40 and above, it's 90%. And then, of course, there is a period. So the CCP subsidy period can range from 3 to 6 months, depending on the person's, what do they wanted to convert to, and also depends on the on-the-job training, the cost, the duration of the course, and things like that. So the government is actually pretty flexible. Some is 3 months, some is 6 months.
Is there a limit as to how many people you can hire through this program?
Oh, okay. Good question. No, there is no limit. So if a company wanted to hire like 10 people, go ahead.
Wow. So they can build an entire department of 10 people through this program, subsidized. Okay.
Yes. So these are the ways that the government is helping SME to grow the manpower capabilities. Yeah. So one of the awesome programs. Besides, of course, the PSG CCP is another one that I truly think all companies should really look into it.
So these are the very two popular programs that your clients will go with?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually these two. And of course, there's one more called EDG. Some of our audience may be familiar with CDG, Capabilities Development Grant, and then now they have changed the name to Enterprise Development Grant. But EDG usually is actually more suitable for mature companies. Mature companies, because there are some requirements, EDG usually the success rate is higher if the company is like more than 2 years and above, and there is also a certain requirements of the sales turnover. So if let's say for a new company, new startup wanted to apply EDG, our general advice is not to apply. Because our thing for the first 2 years, everyone is struggling, to get the process right and things like that. So Enterprise Singapore, who is administer EDG, will also think maybe it's not the time for you to do something that drastic. So EDG supports a wide spectrum of areas as well. So for example, it helps the companies to strengthen certain capabilities like accounting, HR, and etc. And the other one is also software solutions and machineries. So certain companies, if let's say you want to get high-tech machineries, which is not commonly used in your industry, and then you can consider using EDG. A lot of informations are actually not available on the website because they are generally too much. So the easiest way is to approach an SME advisor or of course to approach us, then we can actually share with you more. And then why not just try? If you get like 50% or even 70% subsidies from the government, it's still cost saving.
I heard about EDG, but we haven't really applied for it. We applied for PSG grant for HR software. For EDG, I heard that the difference is that the amount can get quite big, is it?
Yes. So for the differences between PSG and EDG is that PSG is capped at $30,000, and then EDG generally is no cap. So depending on how big is your company, imagine let's say every year your sales turnover is 100 million, the equipments or the services or the capabilities you need is very much different compared to our SME, just the sales turnover is like 1-2 million. So the amount on EDG it varies.
How much can, let's say a company with 1-2 million, how much can they get from EDG?
I would say it's the word reasonableness. Okay, if let's say the company's sales turnover is 1-2 million, and then the EDG amount usually I would say is like 100 to 200,000, that kind of range. Because it doesn't make sense if the company sales is 1-2 million and then the government give you 1-2 million kind of subsidies. Yeah. So and the government also think that you probably don't really need this that expensive kind of equipment or services or software.
100 to 200,000 worth of project is a big project already.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends. It depends, of course. So the EDG officers usually they are very knowledgeable. So because they have been seeing a lot of different companies, and then from there they will be able to advise you.
I want to switch gears a bit and tap on your experience because you work with a lot of SMEs throughout the years, serving close to 2,500 of them. What do you see as a common problem or SMEs are not doing well in regards to whether it be accounting or software or any areas?
I would think there are two areas. First thing first is, of course, since we are an accounting firm, accounting is always one of the issues. For example, they didn't hire the right person with the right knowledge. That's one thing. Or they didn't use the right software, or they have no idea how does the accounting world work. So that's number one. So compliance is always an issue. So we encounter a lot of companies like didn't submit GST on time, or the accounts is in a mess, and when they want to analyze their business, they have no way to understand how their business are doing. So that's the first thing. The other thing that we also found in SME is that marketing of the SME company, actually they don't understand marketing. So when we talk about marketing to them, right, they always thought like, I have a salesperson. But sales and marketing, these are two different topics. So there is a saying like, if the company is struggling doing sales, the companies probably don't have a good marketing program. If the company is struggling with the marketing program, the company probably don't have a good service or good product offering.
That's very true. We always use the example of Apple because their marketing is so strong, the product basically sells by itself already. Actually, you guys also advise people on marketing?
Not really. I mean, marketing is why we have, or rather why myself has such a great interest into marketing. As you know, Ted, I'm an accountant, I'm a CPA. So, an accountant is actually have no idea what is marketing. So when I started the company 15 years ago, we struggled a lot on marketing. And because of that, so we pay a lot of attention on marketing, even up to the ads that, the copywriting of our advertisement, the way that we reply our customers, how do we design the back of our name card so that when customers get our name card, they can immediately understand what we do. So a lot of very subtle details. These are all marketing, and the thing is, it all accumulates and then add up. So I would say we share, because when we see a lot of SME, right, I actually empathy, it's like I'm seeing them like, oh, this is what I struggled like 5 years ago. This is what I struggled like 10 years ago. So we share a lot of this kind of information with our clients.
On that note, right, actually your space is pretty competitive. There's quite a lot of firms doing all these things, whereas you managed to grow the firm to what I believe is one of the largest firms in Singapore, close to 100 employees. So how exactly do you stand out? How did you manage to grow the company?
I guess it's our belief. So when I was working for others, right, my last job was a financial controller. So I deal with auditors, I deal with accountants. One of the things that I hate is that, we pay an auditor to come in to check on our account, and then they scrutinize and everything. Eventually, before the audit report is finalized, they will list down a list of things that we done wrongly. It's so intimidating, because when the report come out, we'll say, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. And eventually, it's like I paid someone to scold me. What's the purpose? So from that note onwards, right, when we set up the company, a software solutions and accounting advisory, we wanted to value add our company. Value add our customers. So how do we value add is that I always tell our customers that we make money for our customers by what? Number one is that through the government grants. So grants is a very big component. As you can see, I can share with you, all the grant details and so forth. So we have all this on our fingertip, a government grant. Number two is that by reducing the redundancy or cutting down the wastage, the companies can actually make more money by simply improving the efficiency. So with these two ideas, that's how we value add. And then, of course, throughout the year, there's also another thing that we strongly believe is that we don't sell things that our customers do not need. So with all the software solutions, if let's say this, my software is not suitable, we just tell them, I don't think it's a good fit to you, so you better don't buy. If not, you will haunt me for the next 3 years and keep telling you sell me a software that cannot work, I'm still suffering and things like that. So it's rather to maintain friends than, having an awful relationship.
So you look at the long-term relationship and you start off on the right note, selling them the right things.
Correct.
Nice. Would you say that you differentiate from all the other accounting firms because you value add beyond just accounting, like what you say, the grants and then cutting their redundancy in the company?
Yeah, I would very much say so. When we talk to our customers, accounting advisory is the least thing that we wanted to share, because it's just a very small section of the company. And then, to be very frank, if it's not government who actually requests for the compliance, I think all companies will not be so interested to prepare the accounts on time. So of course, we always look at other areas. How do you increase your sales? We are more interested in improving our clients' bottom line, because when they grow, then we can charge higher. Yeah. So in a way, when they grow, we also grow. And then the customers, when they see our value, they are willing to pay more as well. So this is our belief, rather than going into the market and then slash prices and things like that. And of course, on the other hand, we also improve our efficiency. I can share with you our fee. Certain of our fee actually is currently lower compared to 5 years ago. So because we change our workflow internally, and then our efficiency goes up. When our efficiency goes up, right, our charge out rate, we call it the charge out, which is our service charges, actually lower down. So these will benefit our customers as well, and we become more competitive in the market too.
Oh, okay. And how do you maintain this kind of quality and these standards? Because as you say that you believe in not selling the wrong things, but as you scale up the business, how can you ensure that people have the same belief as you and then do the things that you believe in?
I think company culture. So number one is that we share this with everyone in the company. So we have monthly town hall meetings. So during the town hall, I always emphasize what we believe and what we wanted to do for our customers. So that's number one. Number two is that to our customers, it's always good to be upfront. So we share with our customers what we do and what we don't do, and it really depends on them. After 15 years, comparing to 15 years ago and now, right, 15 years, when I lose a deal, I feel very upset. I can be upset for like 1-2 days. But nowadays, if the customer doesn't fit, we rather be very frank and share with them. I don't think we can offer you anything. And then it's better that way. And then we wish the customers, better luck in finding other solutions. Or either is we introduce our peers, for them to have to evaluate whether the other solution is suitable for them. I think this is better. And then who knows, these customers 3 years down the road, they have a new business or they have a different aspect, then they will come back to us because we are telling them the truth.
Yeah, I think action speaks louder than words. So if you send a message by really rejecting clients, your team members can see that you're serious about doing the right things in the business. Lastly, do you have any final advice for entrepreneurs wanting to do well and grow their business as fast as yours?
I would say for all entrepreneurs, what we need to do constantly, doing which I have been doing every day, is always try new things. Never be afraid of trying. I have a saying in my company. We always said that if you have an idea, and let's go and execute it, whether right or wrong. If you never execute it, eventually you still have the doubt, and then maybe next year or 2 years later, we will come back and say, hey, should we do this? The should word is really a no-no. So, just like the Nike slogan, just do it, whether right or wrong.
So if you want to apply for grants, just do it also. Don't hesitate anymore because the grants also are there for limited time only. So lastly, can you share with us where can we find you if you want to find out more about your company and everything you do?
Oh, okay. Very simple. Just go to our website, which is www.361dc.com. D for Denmark, C for China.
Okay, thanks Ken for joining us today and sharing all the valuable insights with our audience. Thanks.
Oh, pleasure. Thanks, Ted. Thank you so much.
Each week, we release new videos on digital marketing, sales psychology, and business growth. Do like, subscribe, and press the bell notification so that when new videos are released, you will be notified.